Welcome to Context. I'm Bakhtiar Sonov, and today we revisit a critical issue reshaping the security architecture of the Middle East and beyond. Iran's nuclear program and the claims versus realities emerging after the latest conflict. Just a day after a U.S.-brokered ceasefire ended the 12-day conflict between Israel and Iran, a newly declassified assessment from the U.S. Defense Intelligence Agency is challenging the dominant narrative. Contrary to bold assertions by President Donald Trump and Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu that Iran's nuclear infrastructure was completely and fully obliterated, the DIA now says Iran's nuclear program has only been set back by a few months. This revelation casts doubt on the notion of strategic victory and raises tough questions about regional deterrence, military credibility, and the future of nuclear diplomacy. Compounding the situation, Iran's parliament voted Wednesday to suspend cooperation with the International Atomic Energy Agency, citing the agency's failure to condemn U.S. and Israel attacks on its nuclear facilities. Iran's leadership has vowed to accelerate its nuclear development. What are the real implications of this shift? Could the region be heading into a new phase of nuclear brinkmanship? To help us unpack this complex issue, I'm joined by Ori Goldberg, a prominent Middle East expert. Ori, welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
Ori, let's begin with the DIA's recent assessment. What does it tell us about the actual damage inflicted on Iran's nuclear program during the 12-day conflict?
I think the main point is that the DIA's report suggests that the American strikes were not able to damage and not destroy the Iranian stockpile of fissionable material, which is the most important part of the nuclear program. Other pieces of relevant equipment can be purchased, but enriched uranium is hard to come by. So if Iran still has its stockpile, its capability to reach a nuclear weapon, should it decide to do so, has not been hurt significantly.
So then how do you interpret the gap between the DIA's findings and the statements made by President Donald Trump and Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu?
Prime Minister Netanyahu is known for not particularly liking to tell telling the truth. And his notion that Israel was facing an imminent threat, even he contradicted himself. So I don't think there's much to expect from him in terms of describing the impact of this 12-day war and the American strikes. Of course, he's also the leader of one of the warring parties, so one can only expect him to try and present his accomplishments as a victory. As far as Trump goes, I would credit it again. I mean, Trump wants his strikes to appear exact and accurate and effective, but I understand that in the NATO summit, he has already owned up to the fact that the truth is nobody really knows what the effect of the strikes was. So even though for a little while there he tried to suggest that the intelligence agencies were not telling the truth, I think he ultimately recognized their report as correct.
Dr. Goldberg, from a strategic communication standpoint, what are the risks of prematurely declaring a decisive victory in such high-stakes confrontations?
Well, the risks are becoming too certain and too persuaded of your own abilities, not appreciating your enemy's capability or desire to hit you back where it hurts. But also I would say that in this conflict, the level that we're not expressly made aware of in the communications arena is just as important as the military level that we all saw. Israel struck tremendously all over Iran, achieved aerial superiority. It was not challenged by the Iranian defenses, whether in the air or from the ground. But what has Israel achieved? It did not affect regime change. It apparently did not significantly hamper the Iranian nuclear effort. What effect did it achieve? It's all about the perspective you adopt when you look at a conflict like this. Strategically, Israel did not come away with a victory. Tactically, Israel demonstrated its prowess and its potential for establishing that sort of aerial superiority very quickly. It also showed how good it was in performing political assassinations, but none of these apparently have so far cohered into any significant effect on either nuclear capabilities or the welfare of the Islamic Republic.
So Iran's decision to suspend cooperation with the IAEA is alarming. What does this signal about Tehran's next steps?
I don't know what it signals about Tehran's next steps. I think most of the relevant decisions for that question will be reached in consultation and in negotiation, mostly with the Americans, but perhaps with other interested players. I think for us, the ordinary citizens who feed on open source information, the important point is that this is a political game. It's not just a military game. It's not just about capabilities or specific equipment. It's not a science. It's about politics. And the Iranian parliament has adopted a hardline position, and it is hostile towards the attempts made by the United States and the world to uh, talk to Iran or to force Iran to accept an agenda or an order that are not suitable with its interests. And so the Iranian parliament passes a resolution that says we recommend withdrawal from the NEA or we're withdrawing from the IAEA. There's a long way before that actually happens, and it is mostly a political drama being played out by all the relevant parties.
So Iran's parliament speaker Galibaf says Iran will speed up its nuclear program for peaceful purposes. How credible is that claim in the current context?
Well, I suppose it's quite credible. Iran will make an effort as long as its civil nuclear program is accepted and approved by the world. Iran will make a point of demonstrating both that it is capable of expanding it and that it abides by its obligations according to whatever agreements are going to be signed. The Speaker of Parliament is a senior politician, has a lot of experience at the national level,
Yes.
but he doesn't make the executive decisions.
Dr. Galberg, what impact could Iran's IAEA suspension have on international monitoring and verification mechanisms?
So if Iran really does withdraw from the IAEA, then monitoring will be less comprehensive than it has been so far. Right now, Iran is subjected to the harshest regulatory regime that the IAEA has.
Mhm.
So they'll probably be less effective and less comprehensive. But Iran has a lot to gain from appearing willing to play by the rules. So I don't know if Iran will actively withdraw from the IAEA, but even if it does, there will be detailed agreements, just like the JCPOA from 2015, that will describe Iran's commitments, Iran's obligations, and Iran's responsibilities.
Mhm.
Iran wants to be accepted by the world as a responsible partner. So it has a vested interest in appearing one.
So do you foresee a complete withdrawal from the non-proliferation treaty as a possibility in the medium term?
I would be surprised if that actually happens. The political drama has yet to unfold in Iran itself. Right now, everybody in Iran is rallying around the flag. Everybody is supporting a harsh tone and harsh measures. But in Iran, there's always been a struggle between the people who think that the success of the Islamic Republic depends on its ability to remain revolutionary, that is, hostile towards the world and towards its environment, and those who think that the revolution was simply a means to an end, and the end was creating a stable state and better life for the citizens. This struggle has been characteristic of Iranian politics pretty much since the establishment of the Islamic Republic, and it will continue to take place once this current crisis has calmed down.
In your opinion, what role can Europe or Russia play at this point in de-escalating the nuclear dimension of this crisis?
Europe can certainly play a role because Europe is not the EU, but prominent European countries are signatories to the JCPOA, which still stands and still exists. So Europe can demonstrate that Iran is a partner and that it respects its commitment to Iran, to lower the tone with regard to Iran. As far as Russia goes, I don't think Russia is accepted as an honest broker at this stage. And while Iran and Russia have a very successful working relationship, they also have a very loaded historical relationship with a lot of suspicion and bad blood. Even though, again, they've been very willing partners, I don't know whether Russia can step in and assume the mantle of a mediator.
Dr. Galberg, is there still room for diplomacy? And if so, what kind of framework would be needed to restore trust and accountability on all sides?
Oh, there's most certainly room for diplomacy. I think that's what we're seeing. I think we're seeing diplomacy at work. Israel is the one who is addicted to tactical displays of violence. but the Iranians have been pursuing a diplomatic path throughout this entire affair, and I think they're seeing the fruits of their labor right now. I think the framework is one of constant negotiation at the first stage, and ultimately a kind of regulatory agreement that resembles the JCPOA of 2015. I would assume that that is what both sides want.
So, Ori Goldberg, how might this recent round of conflict shape Iran's relations with its neighbors to the north, particularly in the Caucasus and Central Asia?
I don't know if it'll have a sizable effect. I think the relationship Iran has with its neighbors in the Caucasus I don't know if amicable is the right word, but they're certainly stable. I don't think Iran is interested in displaying force or the propensity for the use of force, and I also don't think that those neighbors are interested in attacking Iran. So I think this is more about the relationship with the United States or with the Gulf powers than it is about the relationship with the Caucasus.
Ori Goldberg, thank you for your valuable insights and analysis. We truly appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
That's all for this edition of Context. I'm Bakhtiar Sanov, and thank you for watching, and see you next time.